All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the May 20th, 2025 iteration of the Kubernetes SIG-Windows community meeting. As always, these meetings are recorded and uploaded to YouTube, so be sure to adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct. Let's get started. Um, so for announcements, I think the 1.34 release cycle has started. I think there's been some announcements from the release team on the Kubernetes dev alias, kind of just detailing timelines and everything for that. I also did want to call out that KubeCon NA, which will be in Atlanta this year in November, I believe November 10th to 13th, but we should double check, will be happening this year, and there's a call for proposal deadline for talks and papers that is May 27th, so that's next week. So if anybody's preparing or hoping to submit talks for it, please make sure to get them in before the 27th. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to announce? Oh, okay. Next, I think we can do the new contributors welcome, give a little bit of space if there's anybody new here that wants to introduce themselves, but I don't see anybody new on the call. I'll still pause anyway. And if anybody wants to say anything, just feel free to say something. Okay. I think now would probably be a good time to figure out which keps we want to try and progress in the 134 release cycle. I have a couple in mind that we can discuss here. We can just give maybe list some of the keps that are in progress and give like indicate if we want to progress them or not. I think the first one is the node shutdown. I think you've been working on that. Do you have any like thoughts or preferences? Should we try and progress that one this release? Is that currently in beta?
No, currently it's still in alpha. So I do want to move it forward, maybe to beta in this release. What I'm currently do is first I rebase my PR of node test, and maybe I maybe we will need to go to Signode to push it for approval. And I also submit a few PRs trying to enable the graceful shutdown for CAPZ cluster so we can test on the CAPZ test grid. That PR is also uh, ongoing, but I have tested from a local created node cluster. Yeah, it seems working fine.
Okay. And just to be clear, that was you wanted to get the Windows EDE node tests, all of those pairs merged, right?
Uh, Node level, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Hey Mark, I just have a quick question.
Yep.
So this feature was originally introduced in, I believe, 1.32 as
Mhm.
alpha. So there is no release requirements from moving from alpha to beta, right? As
No.
long as we meet all the beta requirements, we shall be able to push forward this
Yep.
feature. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I think that would be good to get that working. And yeah, the Windows EDE node test stuff is be helpful there. Um.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, by the way, another PR is for the log rotation that was
Yes.
checked in. Yeah, that yeah, it is also part of the node shutdown, which can make the logging in production more robust.
Yeah, I think I saw there was some PRs to Image Builder and Windows testing for that, right?
Yes.
We can go back and add links later.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we did say that we wanted to just ensure we had kind of the parity with log rotation for beta, for that, so that'd be good to have. Okay, I think I'm just gonna list some other keps. I know some other keps are. We had the QProxy feature gates, and that went to beta last release. I think the Win DSR, Win overlay specifically. I think that we didn't have too many more requirements to get those to GA, so we can possibly look at those today or look at those this release. Those were, I mean, as folks know, those have been kind of implemented and tested thoroughly for many releases. So uh, um some of the other ones that I know we were tracking is and I'll need to sync with James, the CPU or the topology and CPU slash think that that went alpha in 32. And then there's a couple other ones. I think we still are looking for the CRI only stats to go to beta. I don't think that there's a lot to do with for SIG-Windows specifically, so we should sync with sync node. But that is going to unblock some of the future work that we wanted to do around exposing commit memory for pods. So. Are there any other keps that folks are aware of or have in mind for this release?
I know that Dawei is working on this feature of reporting the committed
Mm-hmm.
memory for Windows container
Mm-hmm.
through kubectl top. I don't know whether there is a existing cap for that or not. And maybe that's a stretch goal we can, if we could possibly make it to alpha in this release, and that would be great.
Yeah, I think that we do need the CRI only stats here.
Oh, to be the prerequisite of that work.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even if I think we could possibly we should we should check with some folks, I think SIG scheduling, and possibly start the cap, even
Mm,
if and like assuming that this would go to beta,
mm.
um to see if we need a cap. So maybe I can do that, like list that like um yeah, so I think the first we should probably sync with those folks. And I think, well, first is if we don't already have an issue for that, which I believe we do have an issue, we can run that by the SIG scheduling folks and see what they think. And then if we do need a KEP to change all of that, then we can start authoring that KEP. But I do think we want the CRI only stats to at least be in beta before at least the work finishes and that feature goes to alpha, just because that is a requirement. I don't know currently if there's like hard like guidance or restrictions around one enhancement that requires another enhancement if like what levels they need to be,
Okay.
support levels. So we should check on that too. Let me just double check. Which ones are... Okay, so yeah, this one we said we can maybe go to alpha. This one, let me just remove the life cycle. Since I do think we want to... Oh, we talked about that one. The Windows No Graceful Shutdown. That one's not rotten. We talked about that one. This one, we'll look at the status. I hope that they're planning on going to beta again, but we'll probably need to follow up with that. I think that, which one? Cortana was working on this, and I saw some implementation in container D, some activity on that pull request. So possibly I'll try and sync up with Cortana around this. I think that there is a... Let me pull runtime class. Where is it? And I can add links to that too. This node log query, this Arvind was driving this. I know he's had some kind of family emergency that he's needed to step away from his work responsibilities for a little bit. So I'll try and sync up with him when he's done. But it looks like, yeah, they are still tracking this. And then this KubeADM for Windows 1, this, we've talked about it a bunch. Sync with James, and I think we wanted some work with kubeproxy done before this one. So I saw James on the call earlier, but it looks like he dropped. So yeah, I think this is like a fair amount of feature work if we do try to progress most of these. Is there any new, like net new functionality or KEPs that anybody would like to propose here?
So Mark, for instance, I know Ian's team have been working on onboarding Windows Server 2025. Is that considered a feature work, or I don't know how we capture that kind of
That's
work?
more. That's we have not tracked KEP like that sort of work through via KEPs before.
Okay.
If there, I think if I would consider that feature work, I'm not sure. I would consider that more just like maintenance work,
Okay.
unless there is some new like feature work that's needed for it. I know that there's been some issues with the networking specifically, right? That's been really
Right.
slowing that down. And my understanding right now, and CEO can also correct me if I'm wrong, is that that's work that's probably needs to be done on in HNS. So I don't know. I don't think we can really track. I don't think we really need to track that here, unless, I mean, if there are issues in Kubernetes tracking that work, even if it's just giving status updates, that would not be a bad thing. But I think you unmuted. Go ahead.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so far we haven't identified anything specific to Kubernetes, but still working with the networking team to try and understand what's really going on.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, we can just hopefully get some progress from some folks at Microsoft internally around that. Does any I also remember some folks were working on the Windows debug, like the kubectl debug commands. I don't believe,
Yeah, I think Ridika, is she
yeah,
still working on that one?
I don't believe that work was tracked with a kep, but we can, we'll check like. Yeah, so I'll sync with Rutika on that and see if that is something that she's planning on continuing or if needs some help and needs somebody to pick that up. Yeah. I guess does anybody have anything else to discuss that took most of the meeting? If not, we can give everybody a couple minutes back.
Oh, I do have it's not the caps related, but we talked before on the BusyBox test image to remove the downloading of curl. Yeah, I had tried to use the system installed curl, but there was already a PR checked in, which use the latest version of curl, which yeah. So I'm wondering if I need to still continue with my work, or as long as the build is fine, we can I mean use the curve from another location which seems more stable.
Um, I think either way, I think that there's like if we don't try and remove curl from that image, there's a possibility that that there may be issues in the future. Um, but at the same time, I think there's less urgency around that.
Right, agree, yes.
So I think it's really either way it would work.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I will park my my changes, and yeah, let's see if later we met issues we can reactivate.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, yep, that works. And yeah, I think there were some discussions and I know some concerns around the one that's built in Windows may have different flags and or like different features enabled and things like that. But at the same time, I think if the tests are working, it doesn't hurt to try and remove it. But
Yeah.
I think it just depends on priorities. And I think given that the build is unblocked and stuff, I think some of these enhancements and other feature work is probably higher priority.
Mhm.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording then and give everybody 3 minutes back.